At 37,000 feet above the freezing black Atlantic, Flight 728 was just another routine overnight crossing, until the captain slumped forward over the controls, and a quiet girl in seat 14A heard three words that would change everything. Mayday, captain down. For 8 seconds, nobody moved. Not the passengers. Not the cabin crew. Not even the co-pilot. Because in those 8 seconds, the airplane began to drift. And the girl in seat 14A. She was the only one who understood what was happening. But no one knew why. 2. Introduction. Date, November 18, 2024. Flight, North Atlantic Airways Flight 728. Airline, North Atlantic Airways. Aircraft, Airbus A330-300. Route, London to Boston. Departure time, 9:45 p.m. Passengers, 241. Crew, 11. Weather, heavy winter, winds over the Atlantic. Patchy turbulence. Ice crystals forming at higher altitudes. Inside the aircraft, everything felt normal. Families slept. Business travelers typed on laptops. Children watched cartoons. Flight attendants moved quietly through the aisles. Captain Daniel Hayes, age 54, 18,000 flight hours. Respected, calm, reliable. First Officer Lena Brooks, age 31, sharp, disciplined. One of the airline's best rising pilots. And in seat 14A, a silent 17-year-old girl named Emily Carter. Headphones on, notebook in hand, watching the wing. Alone, quiet, invisible. But tonight, that would change. 3. Main story. Scene 1, boarding the silence. Narration. Passengers boarded under rain. Jet fuel glistened under runway lights. Emily stepped aboard carrying only a small backpack. No family. No conversation. Just silence. A flight attendant noticed her nervous hands. But then, Emily glanced toward the cockpit. Like she recognized it. Like she'd seen it before. Pilot dialogue. Captain Hayes. Evening, smooth ride, hopefully. Brooks. Let's hope the Atlantic agrees. Passenger reactions. Normal. Relaxed. No fear. Yet. Technical explanation. Boarding is the final preparation phase where pilots verify fuel, weather, and routing. Suspense ending. But hidden inside Emily's bag was something unusual. A worn aviation logbook. Scene 2, pushback. Narration. Engines roared alive. The A330 pushed back. Rain tapped against the fuselage. Captain Hayes reviewed weather. A storm line ahead. Manageable. Or so it seemed. Pilot dialogue. Captain Hayes. Engine 1 stable. Brooks. Engine 2 stable. ATC dialogue. Heathrow ground. Flight 728 cleared for taxi. Technical explanation. Pushback allows aircraft to safely reverse from the gate before taxiing. Suspense ending. But a tiny warning flickered. And disappeared. Scene 3, into the night. Narration. Takeoff was smooth. The city lights vanished beneath clouds. Passengers relaxed. Emily stared at the instrument display visible through the cockpit crack. Her eyes narrowed, like she was calculating something. Pilot dialogue. Hayes. Rotate. Brooks. Positive rate. ATC dialogue. 728, climb FL 370. Passenger reactions. Seatbelt signs off. Meals served. Normal. Technical explanation. FL 370 means 37,000 feet. Cruising altitude for fuel efficiency. Suspense ending. Then turbulence hit. Hard. Scene 4, the first sign. Narration. Coffee spilled. Cabin lights flickered. Captain Hayes grabbed his chest. Just for a second. Then smiled. Ignored it. But then, his hand trembled. Pilot dialogue. Brooks, you all right? Hayes, yeah, just indigestion. Passenger reactions. Minor concern. Nothing serious. Technical explanation. Pilot fatigue and hidden cardiac conditions are rare but dangerous. Suspense ending. The pain returned. Stronger. Scene 5, the collapse. Narration. At 2:13 a.m. Captain Hayes froze. His breathing stopped. His body fell against the controls. The aircraft banked violently. Passengers screamed. Pilot dialogue. Brooks, Captain, ATC dialogue. Static. No response. Passenger reactions. Panic. Oxygen masks almost deployed. Children crying. Technical explanation. A collapsed pilot can accidentally input dangerous control pressure. Suspense ending. And then the radio transmitted. Mayday. Scene 6, alone in the cockpit. Narration. Brooks pulled Hayes back. Heart pounding. One pilot. Mid-ocean. Heavy turbulence. Medical emergency. System alerts. Everything at once. Pilot dialogue. Brooks. Mayday, Mayday, Flight 728. Captain incapacitated. ATC dialogue. 728, say intentions. Technical explanation. A first officer can legally assume command. Suspense ending. But Brooks was hiding something. She never landed an A330 alone. Scene 7, the girl stands up. Narration. Emily heard everything. She removed her headphones. Walked toward the galley. Calm. Too calm. Passenger reactions. What's happening? Flight attendant. Sit down. Narration. Emily whispered. The co-pilot needs help. Suspense ending. And she knew exactly why. Scene 8, the secret. Narration. Emily revealed the truth. Her father was a senior flight instructor. She had trained thousands of simulator hours. Unofficially. Secretly. Flight attendant dialogue. You're 17. Emily. I know Airbus systems. Technical explanation. Simulator experience isn't certification, but knowledge matters. Suspense ending. Brooks had no choice. She let Emily in. Scene 9, inside the cockpit. Narration. Emily entered. The cockpit smelled of sweat and fear. Hayes lay unconscious. Brooks fought the controls. Storm cells ahead. Fuel dropping. Pilot dialogue. Brooks, can you read weather radar? Emily. Yes. Suspense ending. A massive red storm wall blocked their route. Scene 10, double failure. Narration. Lightning struck. Autopilot disconnected. Navigation glitched. Warning screamed. Pilot dialogue. Autopilot off. ATC dialogue. 728, radar contact lost. Technical explanation. Electrical disturbances can disable automation. Passenger reactions. Pure terror. Suspense ending. Now they were flying blind. Scene 11, descent decision. Narration. Nearest airport. Shannon Airport. But weather there. Catastrophic. Brooks hesitated. Emily saw another option. Emily. Divert to Iceland. Suspense ending. But fuel barely allowed it. Scene 12, fire warning. Narration. Cargo bay fire alert. Possibly false. Possibly real. Smoke smell. Technical explanation. False fire warnings can happen, but cannot be ignored. Pilot dialogue. Run checklist. Suspense ending. Temperature rising. Scene 13, panic in the cabin. Narration. Passengers prayed. One man filmed everything. A mother hugged her child. Flight attendants prepared impact positions. Passenger reactions. Crying. Screaming. Silence. Suspense ending. And the engines began icing. Scene 14, losing thrust. Narration. Engine 2 power dropped. Ice crystals choked airflow. Speed falling. Altitude dropping. Technical explanation. High-altitude icing can disrupt compressor flow. Pilot dialogue. Maintain 250 knots. Suspense ending. They were sinking fast. Scene 15, Emily's move. Narration. Emily remembered her father's training. Anti-ice. Manual thrust. Pitch correction. It worked. Engine stabilized. Brooks stared at her. Who was this girl? Suspense ending. But the runway ahead was still impossible. Scene 16, final approach. Destination. Keflavik International Airport. Crosswinds. 58 knots. Near limits. Rain. Ice. Darkness. ATC dialogue. Wind severe, runway clear. Pilot dialogue. Gear down. Suspense ending. Landing gear jammed. Scene 17, belly landing. Narration. Hydraulics failed. No full gear lock. Brooks had one option. Belly landing. Cabin braced. Emily held the checklist. Passenger reactions. Sobbing. Prayers. Hands shaking. Suspense ending. Impact in 10 seconds. Scene 18, impact. Narration. The A330 slammed onto the runway. Metal screamed. Sparks exploded. Fire burst behind the wings. Sliding. 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 Then, stillness. Passenger reactions. Silence. Shock. Alive. Suspense ending. But fire was spreading. Scene 19, rescue. Narration. Emergency crews rushed. 241 passengers evacuated. Captain Hayes revived. Barely alive. Emily disappeared into the snow. No interviews. No applause. Gone. Suspense ending. But investigators found something strange. Scene 20, black box truth. Narration. Cockpit recordings revealed. Emily's instruction saved the aircraft. Without her, impact probability was 94%. Captain Hayes had suffered a major heart attack. Cargo fire was false. Lightning caused electrical damage. But one mystery remained. How did Emily know so much? Investigators found her father's logbooks. Over 3,000 simulator hours. Unofficial. Hidden. Ending. In the end, all 241 passengers survived. Captain Hayes retired. Brooks became a captain. Emily was offered official training by multiple airlines, but she refused. For now, the final report changed aviation policy. New rules for pilot medical screening, improved emergency cockpit access, better simulator outreach. Because sometimes, the person who saves everyone is the one nobody notices. The quiet girl in seat 14A. Until the moment the sky fell silent, and the radio cried. Mayday narration. 6 months passed. The world called it the miracle of Flight 728. News channels replayed the belly landing. Experts praised First Officer Lena Brooks. But one name kept appearing in every investigation file. Emily Carter, the quiet girl in seat 14A. Then one winter morning, Lena received a package. No return address. Inside, a photograph. Old, faded, a cockpit simulator. And in it, Emily, age 9, sitting beside a man. Her father. But behind the photo, one sentence was written. She wasn't supposed to survive that flight. Lena froze. Who sent it? And why? Suspense ending. Because that same night, someone broke into Emily's house. Scene 22, the missing logbooks. Narration. Emily woke to shattered glass. Her father's simulator logbooks were gone. All 3,000 hours. Vanished. No money taken. No electronics. Only aviation records. Whoever came knew exactly what they wanted. Passenger reactions. Emily's mother trembled. Police searched the house. No clues. Technical explanation. Simulator logs contain training history, emergency procedures, and private notes. Suspense ending. But one page was left behind. And on it, a flight number. Flight 728. Dated 3 years before the incident. Scene 23, the impossible record. Narration. Lena examined the page. It showed a simulated emergency. Captain heart attack. Autopilot failure. Electrical storm. Landing gear jam. Belly landing in Iceland. Every detail. Exactly the same. Impossible. Pilot dialogue. Lena. This happened before it happened. Technical explanation. Training scenarios are random. Exact duplication is nearly impossible. Suspense ending. Unless someone planned it. Scene 24, Captain Hayes remembers. Narration. Recovered from surgery, Captain Hayes watched the files. His face went pale. He recognized the handwriting. It belonged to a man named Victor Carter, Emily's father, a former airline systems engineer, fired years earlier. Why? Because he warned the airline about a dangerous electrical weakness. And nobody listened. Pilot dialogue. Hayes. Victor predicted this. Suspense ending. But Victor had disappeared 2 years ago. No trace. Until now. Scene 25, the voice on the black box. Narration. Investigators replayed the cockpit audio. A hidden frequency appeared, buried beneath static. A voice. Male. Whispering. Stay on heading 310. It wasn't the captain. It was Lena. It wasn't ATC. Emily heard it too, and recognized it instantly. Her father. Technical explanation. Radio bleed-through can capture nearby frequencies. But this signal came from nowhere. Suspense ending. Victor Carter was alive. Scene 26, the mountain facility. Narration. Coordinates hidden inside the stolen logbooks led Lena and Emily to an abandoned radar station in Iceland. Buried under snow. Silent. Cold. Inside. Old flight simulators. Emergency recordings. Hundreds of airline system failures. Victor had been building something. Studying crashes before they happened. Suspense ending. And one screen was still active, showing a live aircraft. Scene 27, another flight in trouble. Narration. Flight 991. A Boeing 787 Dreamliner over the Arctic. Same electrical signatures. Same storm path. Same system errors. It was happening again. Victor had predicted another disaster. But there was no time. The plane had 214 souls on board. Pilot dialogue. Emily, we have to warn them. Suspense ending. But the facility locked down. Someone was inside. Watching them. Scene 28, the truth about Victor. Narration. Victor emerged from the shadows. Alive. Older. Weaker. He explained everything. He discovered a hidden software flaw years ago. A rare lightning-triggered cascade. It could disable autopilot, navigation, and landing systems. The airline buried it to avoid billions in repairs. Flight 728 wasn't random. It was the first real-world failure. Dialogue. Victor, I trained you because I knew one day it would happen. Emily stood speechless. Suspense ending. But Flight 991 was now losing altitude. Vast. Scene 29, race against time. Narration. Victor patched into emergency frequencies. Lena contacted ATC. Emily guided the pilots remotely. Step by step. Anti-ice. Power balance. Emergency descent. The same nightmare. Again. ATC dialogue. Flight 991, confirm control response. Pilot dialogue. Minimal, we're losing everything. Suspense ending. And then one engine exploded. Scene 30, the final save. Narration. Emily took over radio guidance. Her voice steady. Cold. Focused. Like she'd done this before. The crew followed her instructions. The aircraft glided toward Reykjavik Airport. No autopilot. No navigation. No second chances. Impact. Bounce. Skid. Stop. Alive. Again. 214 survivors. Suspense ending. But Victor collapsed and whispered one final truth, the final truth. Scene 31, Project Venom. Narration. Snow pounded against the windows of the Icelandic bunker. Victor Carter was gone. Dead. But in his hand, the file remained. Project Venom. Inside were 12 flight numbers. 12 dates. 12 disasters. Each one predicted down to the second. Emily's hands shook. Lena opened the final page and saw something worse. At the top, final event, global fleet failure. This wasn't one accident. It was a chain reaction, and it had already started. Suspense ending. The first flight on the list was airborne right now. Scene 32, the race to stop it. Narration. Authorities were called. Airlines were warned. But nobody believed them. 12 flights. 12 different aircraft. Same software architecture. Same hidden flaw. If lightning hit the wrong systems, everything could collapse. At once, Emily knew the pattern. Victor had spent years mapping it. Now she had to finish it. Pilot dialogue. Lena, how do we stop it? Emily, we don't stop the storm. She looked at the files. We stop the code. Suspense ending. But the flaw was already active. Scene 33, Flight 416. Narration. Over northern Canada. Flight 416, a Boeing 777-300ER, entered severe electrical storms. Exactly as Victor predicted. Inside the cockpit, screens flickered. Autopilot disconnected. Navigation froze. The captain called Mayday. And this time, Emily was listening. ATC dialogue. Flight 416, state emergency. Pilot dialogue. We've lost primary systems. Technical explanation. The Venom flaw corrupted backup logic, making the aircraft reject safe recovery commands. Suspense ending. And there were 11 more. Scene 34, the hidden server. Narration. Victor's files revealed the truth. The flaw wasn't just software. It was linked to a hidden global update server. A secret patch system, buried deep inside the airline network. If Emily could shut it down, all future failures would stop. Location. Seattle. Time remaining. 2 hours. Lena and Emily boarded a military transport. Racing through the storm. Suspense ending. But someone else was already there. Scene 35, the cover-up. Narration. At the server facility, they found armed corporate security. The airline had known. For years, Victor was fired for trying to expose it. His disappearance, not an accident. Emily realized the truth. Her father had been hiding, protecting her, preparing her. Dialogue. Security chief. You were never supposed to find this. Suspense ending. And then the alarms triggered. 3 more flights were failing. Scene 36, the shutdown. Narration. Emily entered the server room. Rows of glowing systems. Millions of live aircraft data points. One wrong move. Global chaos. She found the Venom code. A self-learning emergency override. Designed to reduce pilot workload. But under rare lightning conditions, it became deadly. Victor was right. Emily initiated shutdown. Technical explanation. The flawed AI rerouted flight controls through unstable backup channels. Suspense ending. But the shutdown would cut power to every aircraft using it. For 60 seconds. Scene 37, 60 seconds. Narration. Across the world, hundreds of aircraft went dark. Cockpits black. Pilots flying raw. No automation. No protection. Only skill. And faith. Emily watched the countdown. 60. 45. 30. Lena held her breath. 15. 5. System restored. And one by one, the aircraft came back. Alive. Stable. Saved. Suspense ending. Except one. Flight 728. Its black box had one final unread file. Scene 38, the final recording. Narration. Investigators opened the hidden audio. It was recorded minutes before Captain Hayes collapsed. Victor's voice. From years earlier. A test recording. He had predicted everything. But the final message was for Emily. Recording. Victor, if you're hearing this, you survived. That means you were ready. You were always meant to fly. Emily cried, for the first time since the accident. Not from fear, but from truth. Suspense ending. Her father had never abandoned her. He had prepared her. Final ending. Project Venom was exposed. The airline executives were arrested. Global fleets were patched. Captain Hayes returned to testify. Lena Brooks became one of the youngest senior captains in airline history. And Emily Carter, the quiet girl in seat 14A, was offered full sponsorship to train as a pilot. 1 year later, she sat in a real cockpit, hands on the controls, watching sunrise over the Atlantic. The same sky, the same route. But now, she wasn't the passenger. She was the pilot. And as the radio crackled, she smiled, because this time, there was no fear, only purpose. Some heroes are made in the air. Others are waiting in seat 14A until the sky calls their name. The end.